Aston Villa gets us started. Their new coach, Natalia Arroyo, said before this one, more than anything, this game is must not lose. Hasn't been the best of starts for her, has to be said. Lost her first 3 Barclays Women's Super League games on arrival. Crystal Palace haven't won since October. 1 win in the Barclays Women's Super League all season for Crystal Palace. How they could urgently do with number 2 arriving pretty soon. 2 fairly new coaches, in fact, with Leif Smarud, the Crystal Palace coach now, after Laura Kaminski made way. Only had 1 day to make his preparations for the last league match that he was involved in, the game against Liverpool. Had a bit more time with the team since then, the new Palace boss. Palace snapping in to win it here, trying to work their way along the left-hand side. Aston Villa onto it. And here is Parker, England international, at the back, along to Paula Thomas. Well, often in these types of games, you get a blistering start with the ball pinging around frantically. Aston Villa trying to take control in the early stages. There was a really interesting interview with Natalia Arroyo, the new coach, before this game, where she said this will be a roller coaster of emotions here this afternoon. And this week the Aston Villa players have been spending time with a psychologist to make sure that they don't allow the emotions to get the better of them. We shall see whether or not that has any kind of benefit. Alison Swaby, the Jamaican international, new Palace captain, at the back, gets the ball away. Not too long before Aston Villa have it back. And it's Patton who works the ball into midfield to Jill Byings. Very patient so far from Aston Villa. Actually, Crystal Palace aren't exactly chasing after the ball and pressing with aggression either. Here is Ashley Verdon trying to make some headway through midfield, doesn't get any time on the ball, and it ricochets all the way back to Shea Yanez. Well, she tasted relegation last season with Bristol City, will be eager to avoid that happening for another season in a row, as Thomas gets a header onto it. And here is Ebony Salmon, who had such a big say, of course, in the game earlier on in the campaign. Goal in the 94th minute for Aston Villa, as they snatched a win late on against Crystal Palace. Well, it's fair to say this is not the way I saw the opening minutes of this game playing out. Both teams rather tentative in their approach, as D'Angelo gets the ball away and then gets it back. And perhaps here Aston Villa expecting Crystal Palace to come out chasing a bit more, especially here at home, but there is a new way under the new coach, who's certainly made them difficult to beat. We saw that last week in the FA Cup match against Chelsea. The champions had very few chances, although of course in the end they secured their win. Unbeaten all season long. What a record under Sonia Bonpastor, the new coach at Chelsea. 25 wins from 27 in all competitions. Palace away. And it's Arase who is chasing. And the flag is raised. Well, make sure you check the link pinned in the comments, and to keep yourself in touch with all of the latest news in the Barclays Women's Super League, make sure you're there in the comments section, the link. Hit that as we step into a really important stage of the season, the final stretch. Crystal Palace looking to pull themselves away from the bottom. It really has been a tough season for them, as every team who is newly promoted up from the Women's Championship tends to find the step up into the top division is a pretty steep one. Stengel back in the lineup, taking the throw-in quickly. And Larissé was the target, the Canadian international, unable to do too much with that. Mikato trying to get her foot on the ball as Palace tried to work a move. And Aston Villa are backing off as the home team tried to make a breakthrough down the left-hand side. Swaby's ball into midfield. Verdon bustling around in there, unable to find any room. You look at Crystal Palace over the course of the season, and you wonder where they have gone wrong, because the moves that they've made in the market have been pretty strong. As is so often the way, the difference between the teams in the top half of the table and the bottom half does tend to be in creative areas. Only have to look at the impact that Grace Clinton had last season at Tottenham Hotspur. Look at the moves that Liverpool made when they brought in Herbinger. They saw their results go up a notch, and it's that number 10 that so often can unlock things for you. Often need a goal scorer too, and Crystal Palace certainly haven't had one of those over the campaign. We've yet to see too much from Stengel, but she's on the ball here, driving towards Aston Villa's area, trying to send the ball into that corridor of uncertainty, unable to curl one into the path of a teammate. And Villa can bring away through Noelle Moritz. Poked wide by Salmon. Now Grant. No way through for Patton. And Larissé trying to turn, but can't do that either. Natalia Arroyo just checking that everybody's okay. Has said that her team have been pretty far from the standard needed. And that's the task for her, to get Aston Villa back to where they once were, but Crystal Palace threatening to break away and trouble them here. Stengel cuts it back. There is a chance to go for goal. Arthur, the former Aston Villa player, thought about going for it and then hesitated ever so slightly. Chance here for an Aston Villa break. Chastity Grant into Ebony Salmon, who strikes, only to see it well saved by Shea Yanez. While she had a big role to play in the game between these two earlier on in the season, scored the winner. No way through this time. Rachel Daly trying to feed one around the corner. Not seen too much from her in the early stages here. Mikato up towards Vidden. And she's done well. The pass zipped wide. And this looks promising here for Crystal Palace. Well, it did until the interception. Arthur trying to improvise, has given the ball straight back to Ebony Salmon. Strong challenge by Swaby to win it back. Game is starting to come to life after a pretty slow start, it has to be said. Space for Mikato. Pinged into Veerden, who was unable to bring that one under control. Now Hansen. Opportunity to break right through the heart of Crystal Palace's defence. Opens up for her, and she gets to cross into an area, but there's nobody there waiting. Chastity Grant, the latest to send the ball into the Crystal Palace penalty area. But again, it's an effort that's turned away. Well, what a run here by Kirsty Hansen, who was all of a sudden free. Swaby across, and she did enough in the end. That's good defending. Life Smaroods, the new Crystal Palace boss. Side of the touchline, giving the orders. Managed at such a high level. Crystal Palace have done ever so well to get his services as they fight to stay in the league. And he said when he came in that the one thing he really liked about Crystal Palace is that this is a club that wants to punch well above its weight. Is Mikato trying to wriggle clear. Pass has made its way through to Larissé, and she bursts with real pace, and it's a good-looking cutback, and it needed the interception with Mikato arriving. Palace still looking to cause some problems here. D'Angelo grabbing hold as the cross comes in, though. Former Arsenal goalkeeper with a commanding catch just when it was needed. Well, he's made the team difficult to beat, Life Smaroods. Now the next step has to be, especially in this game, for his team to now start to look for goals. 2 games so far, Liverpool in the Barclays Women's Super League, Chelsea in the FA Cup, and Crystal Palace haven't scored in either. Really need something today. Has to, you feel, be a win. Well, they've been patient so far under her guidance, Natalia Arroyo. Must not lose, that's what she said ahead of this one. And that has been the approach that we've seen from Aston Villa so far. ready to get back underway. 15 minutes on the clock. Neither goalkeeper really tested in a serious way so far. One big chance for Ebony Salmon, but given the angle, was never really a chance that you thought would beat Shea Yanez unless it was something truly spectacular. Nice build-up here from Aston Villa. Rachel Daly quickly moving it wide. Chastity Grant looking to make the run here. Ebony Salmon wanted it to feet, but the ball came in the air, and that gave Crystal Palace the chance to get that one away. Chloe Arthur does well. 34 appearances for Aston Villa over the 2 years she was with the club. Big chance, Aston Villa from midfield, smashed over the top of the bar. Well, Miri Taylor saw things open up for her here. Had the chance to go for a hit, caught it well enough, possibly too well. Verdon looked dangerously placed there. Did well to smuggle the ball away for Crystal Palace. They haven't won in their last 12 games in the Barclays Women's Super League, Crystal Palace. Can't exactly be feeling confident here. Verdon manages to get the ball back to Yanez. And her clearance gives it straight back to Kirsty Hansen. Appearance number 100 in the Barclays Women's Super League for Kirsty Hansen today. Molly May Sharp, who started in the FA Cup match against Chelsea, in the team again here this afternoon, looking to launch it forward. And Mikato trying to send it through midfield, but it's Hansen here, bypassing midfield, running into Swaby, who does well, gets there so that Rachel Daly can't. And now Hansen again, away from Molly May Sharp. Daly spins, Grant waiting on the right-hand side. Has a quick glance, there doesn't appear to be an option for her. And she has to cut it back. Nicely worked here by Aston Villa, and it's another chance. Sent in this time by Jill Byings, and she really wasn't too far away. That was dipping, that effort, but crucially, not quite quickly enough. Just, but only just over the bar. Well, there is clearly a tactic from Aston Villa, and that seems to be shoot on sight. Trying to work another goal-scoring opportunity here. Ebony Salmon drops the shoulder, looks for Rachel Daly, pings one instead into Anik Nouwen, and the flag is raised for offside. Anik Nouwen couldn't play in the FA Cup match against Chelsea. She was cup-tied for that one. Back here in the heart of the Crystal Palace defence. And Larissay trying to turn, wins a free kick. And it's a free kick, you have to say, in a very good area. There have been very few chances for Crystal Palace to test Aston Villa as of yet. And this is a big opportunity to put the ball into the Villa penalty area from this free kick here after the foul by Noel Moritz. Palace send plenty forward here. And none of them can get to it. And Bayern should be able to send this on its way. And Mikato not taking any risks. Heads that one into the coaching staff and players on the side of the field. Grant trying to make some room on the right. Stengel is back on defensive duty, and she's done enough here to bring some safety. Well, we are over the 20-minute mark. We've yet to see a shot from Crystal Palace, let alone a shot on target. Aston Villa again. Well, again with a shot from distance. Again, it's over the top of the bar. But clearly, whenever they are within this kind of range, this is the message. Have a go. Try to trouble Shea Inez. Not too much in the way of trouble for her just yet. It does look as though the Crystal Palace midfield of Mikato and Chloe Arthur will have their work cut out, as Aston Villa spending plenty of time trying to work it through central areas. Chastity Grant does well to hold up the ball. And again, it's right through the middle where Aston Villa will look to go. Ebony Salmon on the right. Bursting, using her pace to get onto this one. Was a bit of a shove there. Assistant was happy with it, and Lily Woodham has conceded a corner kick. Did wonder if this might lead to a free kick. Shoulder to shoulder, according to the officials. First corner of the game then for Aston Villa, and it's one they will take short and change the angle of attack. The ball never makes it in, but there might still be a chance to go for goal here. Well, it feels like something of a waste from an Aston Villa perspective. It really is amazing to think that Aston Villa only 2 seasons ago were all the way up in 5th in the Barclays Women's Super League table. I really do question what has changed, or rather what's got worse, because well, the team doesn't look dramatically different. It does certainly feel as though Aston Villa are missing a player of the kind of quality and playmaking ability Kenza Dali. Off goes Virden here, but she won't get there ahead of D'Angelo. And the Canadian international quickly looks to get the ball away. Stands on the ball, maybe a chance for Palace to break forward, and this looks promising. It rolled away so quickly though that D'Angelo was able to get onto it. Looked for a moment as though Crystal Palace were in. Chance has just escaped them here, and now Hansen is onto it for Villa. Happy to have a run. This is what she does best. Molly May Sharp is there to cover. Aston Villa have another corner, and I'm sure this time they won't be looking to take it short after what happened a moment ago. Aston Villa's corner, curled to the back of the area, and it will drop for a chance, and it was one that was fired goalwards, and it pings away. Lucy Parker had a big chance in there. In the end, it was one that Crystal Palace managed to just about deal with. This looked really dangerous for a moment. Good block in the end by Woodham. Another short Aston Villa corner. Zipped around, curled to the back of the area, too long for Daly, and out for a goal kick. Well, they have clearly been working on some moves, Aston Villa, on the training grounds. Didn't quite work out. Another Aston Villa corner. This is a good spell of pressure for the away side. Well, the bounce certainly made that one awkward to deal with, but Crystal Palace hook away. Larissay trying to turn, but Chastity Grant won't allow her to do that. Well, Crystal Palace haven't won a home game all season, and they are struggling right now to get the ball out of their own half. Veerden trying to hold up play, trying to break now. Spins, uses that acceleration that she has, and then knocks one in behind, but she's knocked it a bit too hard. Well, his team at the moment struggling to contain Aston Villa. Might need to mix things up ever so slightly, because things swinging in the favour of the away side as it stands, although the scoreline, of course, still at 0-0. Yet to see a goal-scoring opportunity for Crystal Palace. Chastity Grant turning, and the whistle is blown. Ball out of play on that side. And it now I'm trying to find a teammate with the pass. There wasn't too much in the way of movement ahead of her. Villa were well set. And now they have a free kick here. Trying to go right through the middle. Aston Villa, they run into Molly May Sharp, and then Hikato trying to make the burst. And Veerden has some space on the right-hand side, trying to hold her run. And the ball came a bit too late. Needed that pass about 2 seconds earlier. Larissay hesitated, maybe thought that Veerden was in an offside position. Off goes Thomas here. Hansen there in support. Hansen scoops on. And the impressive Swaby makes a clearance and wins the throw. Doing their best, Aston Villa, to keep Palace penned in. Still very bizarre that we really haven't seen much of Rachel Daly at all. Played a more withdrawn role over the course of the season, a bit more advanced today. Aston Villa in need of a goal scorer. Struggled for goals over recent matches. Sharp gives the ball away. And then Byings does the same. Opportunity presenting itself for Lily Woodham to go for goal. Comfortably dealt with by Sabrina D'Angelo. Well, like many players, Lily Woodham will be a player looking to make a big impression over the coming months with the European Championships coming up in the summer in Switzerland. And Wales will be there for the first time, as I'm sure you'll hear many times over the coming months. Off goes Mikasa, looking to thread one through. Pinged into the feet of Stengel, did ever so well to control and then get the shot away. Tried to catch D'Angelo out at the front post. Villa's goalkeeper doing well to push away and prevent the effort finding a way through. It will be a corner. Big chance this for Crystal Palace. Good looking ball. Oh, it's over the line. Aston Villa unable to keep it out. And Crystal Palace looking to give themselves a fighting chance to survive in the Barclays Women's Super League. Are showing fight, are showing grit, and they are on top here by a 1-0. Well, they've barely made an attacking move in the game, but Anique Nouwen reacted the quickest after the flick on at the front post, and she steered it beyond D'Angelo, way beyond her reach. It's Crystal Palace 1, Aston Villa 0. Well, the target for Crystal Palace had to be to build on what had been a stubborn resistance over the previous two matches. Defensively, earlier on in the campaign under Laura Kaminski, had plenty of problems. They were conceding goals all over the place. That has changed under Life's Maroons. Next step, start adding a bit more of attacking flair, that goal-scoring touch. Well, Crystal Palace have managed to add that bit of flavour. Now Aston Villa need to do something in response. As their new coach, Natalia Arroyo, said ahead of this one, more than anything, it was about not losing today. Crystal Palace, if it stays like this, will close the gap to just a point on Aston Villa at the bottom of the table. One thing that's certainly happened since the goal is the volume has gone up here. There is a wonderful atmosphere here at the VBS Community Stadium. Proximity to the pitch helping with that. Now the chance to burst again. Larissé has Virden arriving, and she didn't cut it back with enough power, and that gave Patton a chance to clear the ball away. Just to confirm, there was an earlier yellow card for Noelle Moritz for Aston Villa, the Swiss international. Demanding the ball on the right-hand side, but instead it's Daly who gets it. Dropping a bit deeper to see if she can get something going here for Aston Villa. Ebony Salmon driving through, and then Byings had to move quickly with Virden around. Hansen hooking on, Daly trying to get the ball out from under her feet but can't get the shot away. Hansen bustling around, gets the ball in, too close to Shea Yanez though, and she can gather holds. Well, it seems so unlikely, given the team that Aston Villa have become, that they would be the team relegated from the Barclays Women's Super League, but Crystal Palace are on top here. They would still remain at the bottom. There would still be 6 games of the season to go, but it looks as though it could be a pretty dramatic end to the season. Hooked on by Byings. Now Woodham. Stengel turning. It was her shot that led to the corner, that led to the goal. Hasn't been as free scoring as I think perhaps Crystal Palace were hoping this season. Scored a fair few for Liverpool in the Barclays Women's Super League only a couple of years ago. Hasn't really happened for Crystal Palace and her this season, but she's had a vital role to play here when it matters most. Winning the corner, and as a result, a ball in leading to a goal that could prove to be so crucial. Although that said, we do have a long way to go, of course. 7 minutes until the break, still the second half. There will be plenty of twists and turns yet, I'm sure. Flicked on by Thomas, but she can't keep the ball in play. Under the watchful eye of Molly May Sharp on this side. Mary Taylor onto the head of Sharp. In with a challenge, but Thomas gets away, and it's Hansen on the run. And it's cleared away by Crystal Palace. Mikato working hard to get there, and Virden trying her best to get Palace into an attacking position again. Patton chasing, has 2 close by, and takes the safe option. Didn't look as though the whole ball across the line there, but the assistant said it had. Well, it was all rather polite and nice at the start of the game. That has changed. It's all rather frantic and in your face all of a sudden, as we thought it would be. 5 minutes to go until the break. Stengel hooking into the box. Big chance here, Crystal Palace. Bounce made things pretty awkward to generate any kind of power. And Aston Villa bring the ball away. It's one of those types of games where coaches are trying to look for order and discipline on the side of the pitch, but all of that discipline kind of goes out of the window in these kind of games. was a high-risk ball. Thomas is able to get there. Byings can tidy up. No time at all for Salmon to spin away. And there wasn't much time either for Stengel, who was trying to hold the ball up. Villa are on the break here. Byings transitions quickly out to Thomas. And her pass zinged in to the feet of Hansen with far too much power, far too much pace. She was in a really good position as well, in a position to hurt Palace, but they made the clearance. Here's Paula Thomas. Away from the challenge twice, not the third time though. Sharp makes the challenge, gets the ball away, good tackle, stuck to the task. Salmon over on the left-hand side. Quick give and go, gets the ball back, and Swaby is able to clear away, although the flag is raised on the far side against Salmon for offside. Well, Palace, at this late stage of the first half, really in no rush to get the ball forward here, and why would they be? Pretty sure they would be very happy indeed to get themselves down the tunnel at half-time, leading here by a goal to nil. D'Angelo felt she had to move pretty quickly. Larissé trying to get onto it. Patton's looking for that passing angle out from the back when she doesn't really have. The lanes she might usually use are blocked off. Villa have got the ball forward, but it's quickly hooked away. And Veerden, who's looked lively in the first half, shoved off with the ball by Thomas, who has conceded a corner right at the end of the half from the side where Crystal Palace scored their goal. Something of a gift here for Crystal Palace. Thomas had done really well to win it off of Veerden, but this was not the touch that she was looking for. Palace players make their move. And this time Aston Villa head the ball away. Not completely away though. Mikato onto it. That was a vicious sliding challenge from Chastity Grant. Ball in. Cut back is good. Chance was good too. Really good opportunity. And it's sent wide by Larissé. Not by much though. Let off here for Aston Villa, that is for sure. Minimum of 2 minutes to be added to the end of the first half. And Veerden won't get to that one. Pressure by Chloe Arthur. Keen to make an impression against her former club. Rachel Daly slips one through. Villa looking for the equaliser just before half-time, or rather desperate back there for Crystal Palace. Another shot from Aston Villa, but it's another one off target. No trouble again for Shea Inez. Just watch this one fly by. Well, they're having a very good time in the first half. Well, the big story today in the Barclays Women's Super League is down at the bottom, and bottom side, Crystal Palace, are leading here. They've won just once all season long, looking to close the gap on rivals Aston Villa to just a point, and as it stands, they will do just that. Anique Nouwen has the goal. That means at the break, it's Crystal Palace 1, Aston Villa 0. Anique Nouwen's goal is the one that separates the two teams. Header from a corner to put Crystal Palace on top. What does the response look like in the second half from Aston Villa? We shall see. Rachel Daly straight into the action with a block, but it doesn't land for her. And Palace can get the ball away. Stengel trying to make her way through the middle. Mikato in there as well, and Virden trying to get onto it. Has done enough here for Katie Stengel to get there, and she can work it back. Really did end the first half ever so well, Crystal Palace, and they've started the second well here too, and Virden goes for goal, and it's flashed wide. But it's a statement of intent from Crystal Palace that in the second half, they might not see them just sit back and protect their lead. They might be looking to go for more. One thing I'm sure that will be in the back of the minds of the Crystal Palace players is that defensively over the season they've had the worst defence, conceded more than anyone else, 39 goals over the season so far. Keeping things pretty stubborn though so far here. And it's Palace on the attack again. And they're in, and this is a big chance! And they may not get a better one in the second half. Clarissa Larissé through on goal, and she looked as though she was about to make it too, and she's put it wide. What an opportunity. Well, how much will Crystal Palace regret missing that opportunity to score? That's really the question. Certainly look as though they are up for the hustle and bustle in the second half here. Chastity Grant looking for Salmon, who was unable to bring the ball under control, saw that one slip away. Chested down by Stengel, dropping into this slightly deeper role in the game to allow Virden and Larissé the opportunity to get into attacking positions. Working well, but it's Daly now. Always that element of excitement and danger if you're Crystal Palace whenever she's on the ball in attacking areas. Unable to do too much with it on this occasion. Crystal Palace bringing the ball away. Stengel continues to influence here. Unable to connect with Woodham, who was trying to join the attack. Crystal Palace allowed so much room to drift. Now on the goal scorer. Unchallenged as she made her way from the halfway line up to the edge of Villa's penalty area. Lost it eventually. Hansen now picks up for Aston Villa. Slips it wide, too much on it, rolls away and out for a goal kick. Well, Natalia Arroyo, the coach of Aston Villa, losing her first 3 Barclays Women's Super League games on arrival, heading for defeat number 4. Unless Aston Villa can do something pretty dramatic here. They certainly did that in the game between these two earlier on in the season. Winner in the 94th minute of that game. Aston Villa charging, and they have a corner. Lovely burst away down the left-hand side. Salmon eventually looked after. Daly trying to hide herself in the middle there, behind Byings. Ball never arrived, as perhaps Aston Villa would have liked. Referee in the way as the attack was progressing. And it will be pulled back here. Noel Moritz out to Chastity Grant. Grant on the run, delivers in a really inviting cross, and in the end, Sharp did just about enough to get there with Kirsty Hansen close by, coming in, trying to direct the header goalwards, and in the end it flies wide. Stengel's header, Moritz picks up. Stengel back onto it here for Crystal Palace. And Veerden is an option, and that's where the ball is sent, and now she's got the chance for Crystal Palace. Hits it well! Hits it really well! It's a screamer from Ashley Veerden. And it's a goal of real importance for Crystal Palace in their battle to stay in the Barclays Women's Super League. Stengel offered so much in the build-up, but Veerden still had so much to do here. The Dutch international into position, saw the angle to go for goal, cut in field, and what a hit. D'Angelo left in a heap as Crystal Palace add a second. Well, now Aston Villa have a mountain to climb. As it stands, looking like a disaster for Aston Villa here. They would still be in front of Crystal Palace in the table, but only by a point. As we have seen from Palace over the season, though, they can be leaky. And Aston Villa looking for an instant chance to respond, and it's a comfortable stop for Shea Inez to deny Rachel Daly. Well, what's the move now for Crystal Palace? Do they sit back now? They certainly haven't sat back in the second half. And the approach has really suited them, but can they keep up this level of intensity? That's really the question. I would imagine it won't be too long before Aston Villa start to look towards the bench, where Jordan Nobbs and Gabby Nunez wait. Plenty of experience there, plenty of international pedigree. Free kick will drop to Mikato, battling with Byings. And the referee tried to allow the game to flow. Good referee. Pull back for the free kick. More work to do here for the Aston Villa defence. Carter will get there. And Crystal Palace will get themselves a corner. I don't think anyone was expecting this. Late burst away by Mikato. Well watched in the end by Mary Taylor. Palace go deep, really deep, and Swaby have pulled away into a good position. It was difficult for her to do too much to trouble D'Angelo in the end. Salmon wide to Grant, who has strength. Well, Taylor was pretty relaxed there as she rolled away from Stengel, who was arriving. Hansen can't get the ball in the first time around. Eventually does arrive for Aston Villa here. Well, Crystal Palace have backed off. Patton trying to get into position to get the cross into the area. Wins a corner for Aston Villa. Curling ball, getting the flick. Big chance, Aston Villa. Ebony Salmon had to take it pretty quickly, and she put it wide. Daly made the burst, got the flick. Lovely move. Not quite, though. Angela had to move quickly, Virden onto her. Confidence in her step now after that brilliant goal only minutes ago. Ebony Salmon gliding away. Rolls it wide. Hansen twisting, trying to get away from Swaby. Support from Paula Thomas. No room for Salmon on the edge of the box. Anywhere will do for Crystal Palace. Well, you get the feeling it will take a monumental defensive display to keep Aston Villa at bay here by Crystal Palace. They are really pushing now. Marit to the ball in, and Shea Yanez is smartly onto it here. Well, as you watch the game, make sure to click the link in the comments. And that means you can keep up to date with all the latest action in the Barclays Women's Super League. And there will be plenty of that between now and the end of the campaign. Looks as though things are about to get very interesting at the bottom of the Barclays Women's Super League. That is for sure. Top end looks really exciting too. Qualification places for the Champions League in particular. Well, they've not had much to cheer about this season, the Crystal Palace fans. They are set for their first home win of the season here. Plenty can change in half an hour though, and often does in football. This gets the clearance up towards the halfway line. Arthur just keeping things tidy. Inez had company and quickly had to get the ball away. Here's Ebony Salmon. Salmon lifting in and was looking for Rachel Daly. Daly unable to get their sharp deflecting away and out for a corner. Bit of a heart-in-mouth moment there for Crystal Palace fans. Villa's corner, deflected to the back of the area. And Lucy Parker was coming in around the back. Chastity Grant. Gets it back here. She's in an onside position. And she runs into the impressive Clarissa Larissé. Mary Taylor's turn to send one into the Crystal Palace box. Sharp in there. Away it goes, Virden with tricky feet. Not tricky enough though for Aston Villa. Well, it's time for several changes as Aston Villa throw everything at this one. And the first to go is Rachel Daly here, who just hasn't been able to get into this game. She'll be replaced by Gabby Nunes. Mary Taylor also making way, and on comes Missy Bocans. Kirsty Hansen. Off of the field, Jordan Nobbs coming on. And here is the final change. And the player coming off is Noel Moritz. Well, Danielle Turner, the final player to come on here. The quadruple change. Nobbs is straight onto the ball. We know what she'll look to do. She'll try to dominate that central area in midfield. Salmon bursting clear here. She's done well. Byings can't find a way through, though. Crystal Palace continue to maintain their stubborn resistance here. They have the fewest number of clean sheets in the Barclays Women's Super League, Crystal Palace. Decent header away, danger averted for now. Very scrappy in midfield. Needed someone to get onto it. It was Larkin who did, and here is Veerden. Veerden's done really well. Cuts it back. Chance presenting itself here for Crystal Palace. And sat up nicely for the opportunity to go for goal. Straight at D'Angelo though this time. Larkin. Good touch into Stengel. Chastity Grant does really well to come away with the ball here. And she cuts it into the area. Well, maybe the decision to deliver a pass elsewhere came a bit too late. It really is very scrappy now. Aston Villa doing their best to keep themselves at this end of the field as much as possible. trying to heap on the pressure. All hands on deck for Crystal Palace. Big effort on goal, smashing the bar. Well, Aston Villa ever so close to getting themselves back into the game. Bocan's feeding it wide. And Paolo Thomas unable to get there. Well, this has been the way. Shoot on sight from Aston Villa here this afternoon. Jordan Nobbs, the latest to try her luck, and how unlucky was she there? An effort striking the bar. Well, Nobbs really is starting to orchestrate things now. Ebony Salmon's in. Oh, she smashed that way beyond anyone inside the penalty area. Well, Aston Villa came from behind in this game earlier on in the season, but this one feels a lot different, most notably because Crystal Palace have 2 goals. They were only a goal ahead in that game. It does feel as though there is a bit more control, though, and there is certainly, at this later stage of the season, a lot more riding on the fixture. Lev Smaroods, the new Crystal Palace coach, looking for his first win as the new boss. And Natalia Arroyo really trying not to go 4 games without a single point in the Barclays Women's Super League. 4 defeats in the start of your managerial career. Well, you couldn't have imagined much worse, could you? Here is Salmon, trying to take matters into her own hands here. Grant delivers another ball in. Well, Shea Inez is in no rush to take this one, as you probably would imagine. Can't find a teammate with the ball away. Salmon backing in, rolls away. Can't get onto the ball though. Stengel. Well, she's led the way for Crystal Palace all the way through this second half. Big performance from her, perhaps her best in a Crystal Palace shirt. Cato has been a wonderful addition this season, driving her way forward, forcing Crystal Palace up to the other end of the field, and Veerden has won a corner. Well, Aston Villa starting now to commit players forward, and as they do that, there will be spaces that open up at the back. Welsh international Lily Woodham lining this one up. And the curling ball into the front post is sent away. Cato, so industrious in that midfield area, trying to keep the ball up in Aston Villa's penalty area. Brought away by Salmon now. Salmon's driving run up against Larkin here. Well, she had to time that perfectly, otherwise she would have been in trouble. Prevents the cross, can't prevent the corner. Brilliant play by Ebony Salmon. Now Bying's trying to find her way to a fairly congested penalty area. Turner delivers in, Veerden sends away. Turner goes wide. Grant there waiting. Not quite on the same wavelength as Jordan Nobbs, who was already making her moves. And Isibo Kearns looks to the left. Thomas turns it a bit further out towards that side. Plenty waiting for this ball to arrive. Nobbs, Salmon, Byings all in the middle. And the ball is fizzed in with some pace and deflected away for what will be another Aston Villa corner. Well, these are nervy moments here for Crystal Palace and their fans. And there's still 15 minutes of this. Really deep corner, far too deep, in fact. And the former Liverpool midfielder, Isibo Kearns, is chasing, has done really well. Not the best of deliveries from her, though. Well, the referee, pulling play back here, was waiting to see what would materialise. Will be a free kick for Aston Villa. There's nobody on the edge of the area watching Chastity Grant. Jordan Nobbs certainly seen her. Ball into the box. Oh, it's cleared off of the line. Appeals and it crossed the line. Shea Inez went to get there and completely misjudged that. And luckily for her, had defenders back on the goal line. Lily Woodham, what a save that was. Well, they don't exactly look as though they've got things under control back there, Crystal Palace. Jordan Nobbs will get another go. Here is Ebony Salmon now, twisting away from the challenge. Salmon for Aston Villa. Sees her effort well blocked. There were so many players back inside the area. Larissé doing her best to keep the ball at the other end. Doesn't have the chance to do that. Grant has the strength. Veerden won't get there either. And they'll try to go straight through the middle here, Aston Villa, where Anna Patton was waiting, of all people, still forward from the corner moments ago. And had she hit that first time, could have been trouble for Shea Inez. Well, what a minute of football for Aston Villa. Crystal Palace clearing one off of the line, then having to defend Anna Patton, who was racing through. Maz Pacheco onto the field to replace Paula Thomas. And Clarissa Larissé is receiving treatment after this challenge. Well, Aston Villa might be wondering how they haven't scored in this game. They've hit the crossbar, they've had one cleared off of the line. Looking for a change of fortune here. Patton, searching ball, not completely cleared either. Grant under it, Salmon arriving. And the clearance away, landing really well here for Veerden, who already has one in the game. She has 3 for company, tries to play the pass and nearly played it perfectly. Larissé back on her feet. And looking okay because she came flying through there, but it was Aston Villa and Nobbs who was able to get back. Instantly looking to put Aston Villa on the attack. They look to get back into the game. Even a draw here for Aston Villa would be good enough, you feel. Defeat, and they are really starting to look over their shoulder. And back towards Crystal Palace, who will be just 1 point away, as a reminder. That's another ball in. It's a slip this time, though. Grant won't get to that one. Good ball in, good chance, flicked wide. Well, Crystal Palace, if they do win this one here, will all of a sudden bring Leicester into view. They will be 3 points ahead of them. And Crystal Palace still have to play Everton, West Ham and Leicester, the teams in 8th, 9th and 10th. Between now and the end of the season, there are some difficult fixtures in there, that is for sure. Arsenal, Chelsea and Manchester City on the final day, but there are opportunities. Salmon's touch. Villa had plenty arriving, and it needed a better ball in. Well, it hasn't been happy travelling for Aston Villa fans, that is for certain. Ebony Salmon was the target with the throw-in. Aston Villa ball in. And it's more excellent defending for Crystal Palace as Veerden gets onto it here. Aston Villa trying to navigate through very compact Crystal Palace defence. Patton can't get the ball beyond Woodham, who certainly felt that one. Missy Burkane, Shea Inez comes to push away. Her corner, Aston Villa have a goal. Lucy Parker scored it. And they've given themselves a fighting chance of getting something from this game. Well, they failed to get the ball away here, Crystal Palace. And Lucy Parker was lurking and able to steer the ball in quite brilliantly. Here's the Villa fight back on. Larkin trying to get onto the ball, and you do feel that Crystal Palace would be better served by trying to be a bit more progressive with the ball. They've stood off for long periods, and that's allowed Aston Villa to get back into this. Woodham. Well, she can't feed the ball on, but Crystal Palace have wasted a vital minute here. Not had any major stoppages in the second half, although had a fair few substitutions. We've had goals, so there will be at least a couple of minutes added at the end of the game for additional time. We've maybe got just over 5 minutes left in total, you'd imagine. Just over 3 minutes of regular time. Plenty of time for Aston Villa to grab themselves an equalising goal. Ebony Salmon gets into the penalty area. Well, it doesn't get too much in the way of change from the Crystal Palace defence. Well, there will be a huge round of applause here, and there should be. Ashley Verdon, who scored a really special goal earlier on in the second half that could well prove to be the winner for Crystal Palace, is replaced here. What a strike it was. Izzy Atkinson on in her place. Parker completely misjudged that clearance forward by Crystal Palace. And Nikato tries to drag them away, has lost it in midfield. Patton's challenge, here come Aston Villa. Can't connect the passes though. Inez just needs to grab hold now. Needs a big clearance away, you feel, by the Crystal Palace goalkeeper. Be a bit surprising she's not being given the hurry up by the referee here. Punts one away. Knob steers it forward. Up into the air by Byings. Now on away. Now Chastity Grant. Final minute of the 90. Chastity Grant with the ball in, straight into the arms of Shea Yanez. And she will take those, that is for sure. Nobbs sees the space where nobody else does, works it wide. You see both Kansas move the ball on. Had their chance to deliver. Byings has won a corner. Minimum of 5 minutes to be added to the end. And here is Salmon, who could perhaps have gone down there. A bit more additional time than perhaps was expected. As Villa get the ball in, it was a dangerous looking cross as well. Smashed away by Crystal Palace, who just can't get themselves away from under this pressure. Oh, Yanez was hesitant there. Eventually onto the ball after the flick on. Well, this is what it's all about at the end of the season. Tense games. Barclays Women's Super League has really served up. And if it stays like this, we have a really interesting end to the campaign coming. Say comes off to be replaced by Elise Hughes in the latter stages. Big fan favourite. I imagine you've been glancing at the clock about every 30 seconds. 3 minutes to go, just less than. Aston Villa have a big chance here, trying to work the angle through to goal. It just won't sit for them, eventually does. And Swaby threw her body at that one to deflect away and out for a corner. D'Angelo, Aston Villa's goalkeeper, has made her way into the box. Corner comes all the way through. Villa still working ever so hard, trying to create their moment, trying to bring the game level. Now Palace on the break, and this could be it. Well, there was an opportunity for Woodham to make the burst into the area. Decides instead to take the sensible route out to the corner. And that was really, you feel, the best move. Gets a free kick. Well, because D'Angelo had made her way forward for the corner, you thought perhaps Woodham might try and go for goal. Maybe try and lob one over the head of the goalkeeper or hit it low and hard. Doesn't exactly look comfortable though, so maybe didn't have the fluidity in her running to be able to do much else than make it down to the corner. 1 minute, that's all the game has left. There's a big up and under, and Hughes is trying to get there. And a Patton on the right wing. Moves the ball on to the speedier Salmon. Salmon can send one into the box. Nick Nowen is there to make the header away. Salmon again, no way through this time either. And she will give it another go. Missy Bokens into the area. And Anik Nowen again is there to make the block. And that was probably the right call for Crystal Palace. A big hoof away. Stengel wants it. D'Angelo gets there first, but she's given the ball to Stengel. An error by Aston Villa's goalkeeper, and Stengel wraps up the game for Crystal Palace. It will be 3 points. The bottom team in the league have done it here. Just a second win of the season, wrapped up by Katie Stengel. Well, the situation at the bottom of the Barclays Women's Super League going into the final few weeks just got very interesting indeed. It looked as though D'Angelo had done everything right here. But then what was she doing? Who was she looking for there? Found Stengel, who found the back of the net, and with that has surely wrapped up all 3 points for Crystal Palace. Aston Villa will send the ball forward, but it all seems rather futile. Crystal Palace have their first win under new boss Leif Smarut, just their second of the season, and crucially, they have pulled Aston Villa into their sights. There will be big celebrations here. They are far from done, but their chances of survival in the Barclays Women's Super League just took a massive, massive lift. What a game. Twisting and turning unexpectedly, time and time again. A monstrous second half defensive performance from Crystal Palace, and then a late error from D'Angelo, meaning that Stengel could wrap up the game, wrap up the 3 points. And that means we really have an interesting survival battle on our hands now, between now and the end of the season. Crystal Palace 3, Aston Villa 1 is how it finishes here. Well, let's have a look back on the game. First goal arrived in the first half. And it was Anik Nowen rising for the corner after the flick on to send in. And despite the best efforts of the Aston Villa defence, they were unable to keep that out, and they couldn't stop this one either. Stengel right at the heart of everything good for Crystal Palace in the second half. And Virden unleashing. And from here, if we're honest, Crystal Palace never look back. A fine goal, a much-needed goal, and despite the best efforts of Aston Villa, well, they could only get just the one, and it arrived from Lucy Parker. Really smart finish. Looped in into the corner, but if anything, it came a bit too late. And with the victory looking as though it was about to arrive anyway, D'Angelo made sure with a mistake to give Stengel the ball, and she was able to finish off, to give Crystal Palace fans a chance to celebrate here their first win at home for the season. And a win that could be instrumental in their survival. Well, what a performance from Crystal Palace. Thanks for being here for it. It finishes with Palace on top, winning here by 3 goals to 1.